Every organization has them. We have lots of names for them. Silos, border wars, misalignments, cross-department rivalries, family feuds. Whatever the name for it, it comes down to a they. Fragmentation is a natural byproduct of growth. As companies scale, work continues to subdivide into smaller, presumably more manageable units. We divide by specialties, functions like finance or operations, regions like Northeast or Asia Pacific, customer segments like large customers or home users. All of those groupings are intended to make our work focused and more efficient. But all those borders create a coordination nightmare because all those units still have to work together. It's natural for our loyalties to be divisional, to pledge our allegiance to the group we're part of. Anyone outside that group becomes they. And when they want something from me, I won't consider it nearly as important as when someone from my we wants something from me. So what happens when all of those we's and they's struggle to collaborate, to join forces in the service of the organization's greater good? Well, as you already know, it's not pretty. Perhaps one of the most surprising findings in our research was that when organizations have cohesion and alignment across organizational boundaries, when there is a healthy way to resolve the tensions that exist at those seams, you are 6 times more likely to have people be honest and do the right thing. But when those seams are torn, when there's unresolved or unhealthy conflict between groups, you're 6 times more likely to have people lie and put their own interests above others. Nothing creates greater cross-border empathy for your they than walking in their shoes. Here's a case in point. One of the most difficult and complex businesses in the world is dairy farming. Commonly underestimated, people naturally conclude that the cows produce an endless supply of milk, and manufacturers use it to make cheese, butter, yogurt, cream, and processed milk. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. I spoke with Ed Townley, the former CEO of Cabot Creamery, one of America's premier dairy cooperatives and a certified B Corporation. A cooperative is a co-owned organization between the farmers that provide the milk and the manufacturers that make the products from that milk. I've studied several dairy cooperatives, and let me tell you, they are often anything but cooperative. They're often fraught with conflict and tensions, and the competing interests of the farmers working tirelessly to make a living, and the companies trying to get their dairy products to market. Ed told me that when he took over as CEO, the farmers and the board and those on the business side had surprisingly little understanding of what one another actually did, with wildly simplistic assumptions about each other's contributions. Worse, that fragmentation had devolved into some very destructive misconduct. Over the course of his years as CEO, Ed began a systematic process of unifying the organization, making sure that the farmers' and companies' interests were aligned, and absolutely making sure that they understood one another's worlds. Ed told me it was common for people in the plants or people on the business side to assume they knew what the right way was. But I wanted people to be engaging each other to find the best way that served everyone. I brought farmers down from New York City into retailers. Business managers managing the butter business spent time on the manufacturing line. Marketing people generating lots of data spent more time with salespeople who couldn't make sense of it. Upper management spent more time with people down in the organization. Everyone came to understand just how complex and intricate a dairy business actually is, and how working together was the only way we were going to succeed. When Ed stepped down as CEO, Cabot had won countless awards as a premium cheesemaker, and it's one of the Northeast's most beloved companies who cares for the communities in which it operates. So, who is your they? Where are there lingering tensions between your team and another part of your company? Who from another part of the organization causes you to roll your eyes when you know they're coming to ask you for something? And just as importantly, who's they are you? If you think your they is a pain in your neck, rest assured there's someone out there that experiences you the same way. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down the names of 5 people in other departments or teams in your company that either you rely on or who rely on you to get something done. Don't just pick your friends. Pick some of the people with whom you know the relationship could be better. For each of those 5 people, here's what I want you to ask. 1. What assumptions have I made about this person's motives or competence or cooperativeness? 2. What assumptions do I suspect they've made about me? 3. When there's tension between our teams, what do we typically name as the reason for it? 4. What would happen to both of our contributions if this relationship improved? 5. What's one thing I could do to get to know them better and be a better colleague? Then, pick one relationship you wrote down and get started on making it better. If you can keep working at it, I can guarantee you that you will see the results you both are responsible for and your experience of each other dramatically improve. I'll be hosting a live webinar next week to have an honest conversation about what it means to create greater unity across your organizational borders. You can click the link below where you're watching this video to register. During that time, I'll be sharing some other ways to strengthen the seams between you and other teams, and better understand some of the biases you have that might hold you back from working better with your they. So do this work and bring your answers to the webinar, and let's have a spirited conversation about how working more collaboratively with your cross-functional partners is one important part of learning how to be honest.